All right, everyone, we'll go right into questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll work our way through the room. We'll start you off, Jesse.
Porter, you guys were up at half. It seemed like in the second half, the shots weren't falling. How much is it just needed better execution? How much of it was them, fatigue? Just what did you see from the offense in the second half?
Yeah, the offense, we were 1 for 11 from 3. Missed a bunch of shots. I think you still can find ways to win when you're shooting that poorly. It was just night and day. We hit 7 threes in the first half. The story was the rebounding and the turnovers. It's hard to defend out front turnovers that turn into layups, and it's hard to defend offensive rebounds for layups. There was the points off turnovers and the offensive rebounds. Those are hard to defend. I thought we did a lot of good things defensively that we wanted to do, but points off turnovers and offensive rebounds are very hard to defend.
We'll go Bob and James.
It's brief update on Javion.
He's
okay?
fine. He's getting looked at right now, so I got to check. I'll check more after this, but from last time I checked, he was fine.
And then how big is this week of rest that's coming up, and how are you going to navigate that week?
Yeah, we're going to navigate the week, and it's our bye week, and we've been playing every 3 days since Christmas, as everyone else has. So we've got to go on a mission. We got to go on a mission to get better. Got to go on a mission to get fresh, healthy, and tons to look forward to these final 5 games. And we want to get better this week. We had a really poor second half. Shooting it, taking care of it, and rebounding it. We've got to go on a mission this weekend, get fresh and get better.
James?
How much did it hurt to not have Waldo and Hewley? That's 14 points off the bench for you. Your bench didn't give you much today. How much did it hurt not having those guys?
I mean, it hurt. I mean, I'm not going to say it's an excuse for the game. I mean, those two guys are two of our better defensive rebounders. We didn't have a defensive rebounding from our starting the 2 5s that played. We didn't have one defensive rebound against that, and so I think that hurt with that. But we went into it. We had opportunities to win. We take care of the ball. We rebound. We shoot a little better. We have opportunities to win. I got to give them credit. I'll say this. Hunter was Hunter. He's just a load. 2016. Right. I thought Furphy was so efficient. He had 15 points on like 8 shots. He had, he was super efficient. He had 9 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers. I think 3 steals. Super efficient. Harris, 7 assists, no turnovers. I thought they were really efficient production with that, so I got to give them credit with that. And so no excuses being shorthanded. You're not going to get them from me. We felt if we took care of the ball, we rebounded, and we knocked a couple shots in the second half. It's a different game, but it wasn't.
Yeah, Porter, Kansas got a good team, but it's a thin team. They don't go very deep. When you're healthy, you got a pretty deep team. Do you have to get Kansas with their lack of depth? I mean, if you can't counter that, it seems like they're really tough to beat.
I think they're really tough to beat because their first 5 pretty much bring it every day. Even though they're not deep, they're still coming off the bench with a McDonald's All-American, and Marco. So I think they still have, some good players. But their first 5, they could have 4 All-League players in the freshman of the year. They could. I mean, those first 5 are as good as any 5 in the country. Literally, they'll have 4 guys get a chance to be, all conference. And so I'm not. Their depth. When you compare it to some of the Kansas teams of the past, they're not as deep. But I think they're super strong. Obviously they're so well coached. They're so in those first 5 are so loaded. So, I felt we did some things we wanted to do defensively, especially in the first half. And I can't say it enough. Those turnovers out front that lead to baskets and those rebounds are hard to defend. You have to limit those, and we didn't limit those tonight.
Cool.
Porter, you mentioned Hunter being Hunter, but what did you think of Sam and Luke's effort against him tonight?
I think their effort was good, but he's just so productive every night. He's a 20 and 16. It just seems like it's like every night, and so I thought we were doing some good things digging down on Hunter in the first half. You know, he still had 4 assists. I thought we did a good job in the first half. He's a load. He's a really great player, and he takes his time in there. He can pass. It's a phenomenal player.
Eli.
Porter, with Luke, where are you seeing the pieces of his game that are catching up, but also the parts where, at this point, with how much he's played, the game is still moving fast for him?
Yeah, it's you know we got to help him. I got to help him as a coach. You know, with his confidence. You know, with he's a good passer, but he was getting kind of caught there with one dribble picking it up. But I got to help him. I got to be better a head coach for him. He's young. We got to get through this, and when he gets through this, he's going to help us a lot. He's going to help us a lot. The guys see it in practice every day, doing some of the things, and it's going to translate. I need to help him get that to translate onto the floor from practice.
Myra.
You have to kind of coax him to look for a shot, and that's one of his strengths as far as.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was 0 for 3 today. You know, he had some good looks at it, you know, all I can do is say keep shooting it, just keep shooting the good shots. I just want him to be more aggressive if they're flying at him, you know. And I thought he tried to battle defensively down there. I thought he tried to battle, but you know, I got to help him get along. I got to help him move him along. He knows I have total confidence in his shot, but you know, he went up against. Back-to-back, you know, I think Missy at Baylor is going to be a first-round draft pick. Hunter is too. He went to back-to-back 7-1 high-level centers, and he's a freshman. So I got to keep helping him move along.
Also, with a week off, you think you get Suarez and Hughley back this week off?
I hope so. We'll see. You know, this just shows you with Rivaldo. He said he never missed a game at any level in his life. Gets his uniform on, he's down there warming up. I'm like, Valdo. So an hour before the game, he was down there, fully suited up, and he was trying to go. He had the trainer down there. He was trying to go, and finally, I'm just like, go get your street clothes on. I mean, he really wanted to go, and he just was about 50 to 60%, and I just was not going to do that to him. You know, it's just not worth it to me. I mean, I would never put it in jeopardy. You know, so his progress has been great these 3 days. Now he's got a week off. So I think, you know, check with us throughout the week, and I'm hoping his progress continues. But that kid was in his uniform, warming up an hour before the game, and I had to pull him out. I had to get him in his street clothes.
Okay, we're gonna go back left.
How frustrating was it hearing all those Kansas chants at the end of the game there?
I was just. It is what it is. I was thinking. I wasn't really hearing it. I'll be honest with you. I was, you know, disappointed. We lost an opportunity. We had an opportunity tonight. I'm more thinking about losing that opportunity, what I got to do to get us better. And that's what I was thinking about. I mean, I thought our crowd was great. They showed out again, and we had a very poor second half. We'll get better, but you know, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about, you know, what we need to do better, and disappointed we lost this opportunity.
Holden, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, you can't make the shots go in, but just what's it like on the sideline when you're just watching the lead slip away and just you can't buy a bucket?
Yeah, I thought, you know, that doing it as long as I have to, you go through droughts, but like it seemed like a pretty long one tonight. You know, 1 for 11 from 3, and then we even got some layups that went in and out. We got some ones where we got fouled that you're trying to get an and one, and it looped out. We just, you know, we were, you know. You're not going to be Kansas making 4 field goals in the second half, and then getting out rebounded and turnovers like that. And I still think we had our shots, you know, or had our opportunities. And they just got that separation, you know, at that one segment.
We got time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions, Cliff.
Yeah, Coach, I know you said you weren't going to make any excuses or anything, but, you know, when things are going bad shooting-wise, oftentimes you can go to your bench and try to shake things up, and you really didn't have the depth that you normally have. How much of a factor was that?
Well, in the last 7 games, Rivaldo was averaging 13 points a game. Every game, it seems like. I mean, he had 17 when he got hurt at Baylor. He's been one of our best scorers. John, that's what he can do, and John can pass too. You know, John was averaging 8 or 9. So it's a guy that was. So it is, but it's no excuse. I mean, we still have guys that can step up. You know, even, you know, Mox played limited minutes, but I thought he penetrated and kicked it for a nice 3. I thought he had a nice play. But yeah, I mean, it's easy. I can look back when scoring was our problem in the second half. You're not having some guys that can score. especially if one or two guys are off, then maybe Rivaldo's been able to almost come in almost every game and give you a lift. But I can't say it enough. I'm not using it before the game, not using it after. We can find ways to win.
We're going to go Ryan Chapman to close it out.
We're talking a lot about the second half, but that last 2 minutes of the first half went from 11.
Yeah.
What went wrong there?
No, that's a good point. We talked about the locker room. Like, man, we had an 11, and we let that slip to 5 at halftime. And I'll be able to answer that question better, when I really evaluate the tape. But I thought we had some opportunities at the end of the half that they came back on us at the end of the half too. And I thought we were doing some great things to get up there at 11. We were, obviously, we were making some shots too. We made 7 threes in the first half, and that end of the first half, we lost our gap right there.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
We'll have a couple
Porter.
players in here.